Today is September 11th, and if you were born in the early 90s or before, it's very likely that you remember exactly where you were when you heard the news.
Yeah, I was in my truck on my way to work. Have a 4-year-old at home and had just had a 6-month-old at home. His name was Liberty, purely coincidence, and my wife was staying home, and that's when I heard. And I remember looking out my truck window to the side of me, both directions, looking at other people in their vehicles, and I was saying, oh my God, seeing if they were hearing the same thing that I heard.
When I heard about the Twin Towers, I was a professional golfer playing a tournament, and I was on like the 7th hole, and they came out and got us off the golf course and said the tournament's canceled. And they brought us into the pro shop, and I saw the planes hit the buildings. My wife Holly was a flight attendant and was in New York that day, so I was trying to figure out what airplanes had hit the tower.
I was in Birmingham at Lucy's Coffee and Tea where I worked, and we heard that something major had happened, and a friend went and got a small television and brought it into the coffee shop, and we all just kind of stood there watching the news.
When I heard about the first plane hitting the tower in New York, I was working my first job out of college in Pennsylvania. I didn't realize the gravitational magnitude of the situation until I got home that night and had realized that there were 4 planes that had actually crashed, one in Pennsylvania, where I was, 2 in New York, and then of course the Pentagon. And my wife actually called me, who was in Mississippi at the time, finishing up school, and was in tears because she thought because that plane had crashed in Pennsylvania, I was very close to that, but actually I was on the other side of the state. But it took a while for it to sink in.
We were all enjoying a good cigar, and there was a panic amongst us, and we turned the news to see what everybody was talking about. And we saw the tragedy of September 11th when the towers got hit, and we were all like, this is like a movie. This is not real, you know? And then as we were all kind of discussing this, the second plane actually had hit, and it was tragic. All the aftermath, and it's definitely gonna be a time in our lives where we'll always remember, and the impact that it has placed on us even since then to now.
I was waking up in a hotel in South Florida. I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines, and we were on a layover about 45 minutes from my apartment. I was married. Bryant was out on the golf course in a tournament, and I was waking up watching the news. I saw it all unveil on the Today Show that morning, and knew instantly that was.
So I distinctly remember where I was on 9/11, and I remember watching the aircraft hit the towers. I was stationed at Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany. I was directly working as a colonel at that time for a 4-star general who was in charge of all the air forces in Europe. Looking out on the video camera, the intelligence folks came up and they said, a plane has hit the towers. We all at that point thought it was maybe a small Cessna or a small plane. And as we continued our business, watching the news, I saw the second one hit. And I even get goosebumps now thinking about it, because when that airplane hit, I instinctively reached over to a phone that had not been picked up in over 10 years. I called, did a direct line patch to the aircraft where my 4-star general, Speedy Martin, was flying. And I said, boss, it's time to come home. We've got a serious national, international issue here. What happened? They felt the same thing we did as Americans. In my view, that's one moment where our world instantly, at least the Western world, instantly bonded together because of the horrific attack, and because everybody felt the loss of all those lives, the families, the brothers, the mothers, the fathers. And, you know, a tribute to our European allies, a tribute to the foreign countries around the world, because they shared in our horror, they shared in our emotions.